one of the things that we really try to do is just make sure that we are seeing and looking at that home on paper the way a customer would want to live.
Hi everybody, this is Cyndie Roche with New Home Made Simple, where everything about buying and building a new home just makes sense. Today I am going to have the privilege of interviewing Eva Fryar. Now, I have had a great almost 5 years of having the privilege of working with Eva and spending time with her on a daily basis. And I really wanted to give you guys an insight to who she is, what she brings to the table, and really just how entertaining she is. So with that, this is Eva Fryar. Would you mind giving our viewers in this case, or listeners, a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I would. So I work for Payne Family Homes. We are the second largest home builder here in the St. Louis area.
Yes.
Whoop, 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 whoop. And actually, I am the vice president of construction operations over there.
Get out.
No, swear.
You for real?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Construction operations, and I think you're a girl.
I am.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Mm-hmm. Last time I checked.
Okay.
I'm a girl.
Good to know.
A woman.
What? I'm sorry. Chick, woman, girl. We'll go with all of those things.
Perfect.
Okay. So what does a vice president of construction operations do?
Go to a lot of meetings.
That's probably true.
No, so I am actually over all of the purchasing and estimating at Payne, along with the architecture department, warranty, and then all of construction, so all of the field.
Wow. Okay. So we'll get into some of the details on what those things are in a little bit. One of the reasons I wanted everybody to have a chance to meet Eva is because she's won a few awards. I don't know if you guys know that, but the Business Journal gave her a 40 under 40 for the St. Louis market a couple years ago. And she won a Wonder Woman Award for Small Business Monthly, I believe. Then there was Construct Tech Women in Construction 2018, and the Coup de Grace was the Professional Builder, which is a national industry magazine. Gave her a 40 under 40 nomination and award actually this year, right?
That's correct.
I think you have a couple other accolades.
I do. I won a coloring contest when I was about 6 or 7. No, yeah.
And let's not forget you were prom queen.
I was prom queen, yeah.
So she's got a long lineage, a history, if you will, of winning multiple awards. Mm-hmm. But, you know, part of the reason you've been identified as such a leader in the industry is not just because you're a woman. We make fun, but also because of what you've brought to the table. I mean, granted, you are a major player in the St. Jude Dream Home campaign every year for Payne, correct?
That is correct.
Play a little bit of a role there, but also have spent time prior to Payne with a production builder, a national production.
That is correct, yes.
So we'll start with college. Tell me how you got into construction.
Well, so I've always, growing up, always loved architecture. I always loved building. It's funny because I am one of 3 girls in my family, middle child, go figure, always a troublemaker. So I had a younger sister and an older sister, and they were always loved to play Barbies and all of that. But I was always into Legos, and I was always with my dad. And so he was a construction electrician. And
cool, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I took some architecture classes in high school, actually, and I really wanted to get into civil engineering. I, at one point, was just fascinated with skyscrapers and the building industry as a whole. So I started off in civil engineering at Purdue University.
Go Purdue.
Go Purdue. Whoop, whoop. We do play Mizzou this weekend.
Really?
So, yeah.
You had to pull that into here. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So anyway, so I started at Purdue in civil engineering, and I spent about 1.5 years in civil engineering and realized that I wanted to be more focused on something hands-on. Although I loved the math and I loved all of that, and I love still the building aspect of it, I wanted to, it just didn't feel like it was right for me. So I went to a career counselor and took all kinds of testing, and she handed me the papers back, and she's like, you should try construction management. And I'm like, I'm a girl. And she laughed and she's like, there's girls in the program. Just give it a try. So I did. I tried it and I took the introductory course and I actually really loved it. And so from there, that summer, I spent my summer framing homes. And
Like actually on top of a roof framing a house. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is correct. I didn't like the roof part of it. I'm not a big fan of heights, but yes, I was the cut girl down on the ground mainly, laying out the walls, cutting a lot of the lumber, and just putting the houses together. It was awesome. It was a great experience, and I loved it. So that's kind of where it went.
So you went from Purdue to your first job.
I did. I went straight from Purdue to St. Louis, to here in St. Louis, with the Jones Company.
And so many people, I think, in St. Louis still remember the Jones Company and remember them fondly because it was such a prolific builder here in the St. Louis market for decades, actually. Mm-hmm. So you stayed with them till the end, and when they were purchased by Centex.
They were purchased by Centex. So there's a national builder, and I learned so much from being with a national production builder. It was great.
Okay, so I'm going to have you explain that because prior to really getting in, one of the reasons we started this podcast is because so many of us have been in construction in different ways, whether it would be selling, designing, staffing, having built our own homes, having friends build homes, having designed renovations, and production building is just not a word that the general population gets to hear much. Can you define that for me?
Sure. Well, really in our industry, we kind of put them into two different buckets or categories. So there's like a custom builder and there's kind of a production builder. And what production builder means is basically you're building a large volume of units a year. And so we have a set grouping of plans. So architecture inside of our company, we have certain blueprints that you can choose. So it's not like a customer or a potential customer would come to us and say, I have a blueprint, build me this home on my lot.
Because that would be custom.
That would be custom.
So if we were going to define custom versus production, and believe it or not, this really just hit me right this second, it's really about the design of the blueprints.
That, and also that we already have subdivisions.
The land.
That, yes. So if you... Yes. So you would come to us and we would already have certain subdivisions that you would build in, and you would build one of our blueprints, one of our plans that have different options and different ways to personalize the home, but we just don't customize the home. And so that's really kind of in my version, I guess. Yeah. Others might see it differently, but that's kind of how I would define a production builder.
That I hadn't really planned on us getting into that too specifically because I didn't really think about how to explain it. But we get asked all the time, I want to build a custom home, and really I think to the general population, building a home from scratch in their minds could be custom.
Sure.
But really what we're saying is, and this is true, this one I do know, is architecture is expensive.
It is
$30,000 or $40,000 just to get blueprints sealed by yourself if you were going to build that house once. So there are benefits, financial benefits to a buyer to go with a production builder.
Definitely. Yeah, so we take those, and also the other benefit about having a plan and building it over and over again is that we've already worked those kinks out. So
like what kind of kinks?
So let's just say the first time we build that home, we realize that, wow, that hallway is too narrow, or the kitchen just doesn't feel right. It doesn't live right. Those are things that we've already thought about and we've already tweaked. And so I would say it's just kind of, it's been lived in and it's tried and true. And so unlike if you're building a one-off or a from-scratch home.
Oh, I wish I would have moved that doorway 6 inches over kind of thing. And that leads me to what I really did want to make sure that this audience had a chance to hear from you, is how emphatic, from the first day I met her, it was pretty clear how emphatic you are about what goes into the houses that your team produces. Can you give us a little bit of background about what's important to you?
Sure. I thought you were going to talk about my OCD, but all right, that's good.
We'll talk about that later.
No, in all honesty, I think Payne Family Homes does a really terrific job of really thinking about what that homeowner would want inside their home and how they really live inside that home. We talk about a lifestyle. What's their lifestyle? And in fact, one of our collections is called Lifestyle. And so we have a great architect in-house, and he is amazing. He thinks of every single detail, every nook and cranny. And So it's been a blessing to have him there with us and to work with us. But yes, I think that one of the things that we really try to do is just make sure that we are seeing and looking at that home on paper the way a customer would want to live. So.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I want to make sure we touch on this, because as the vice president, as the member of the executive team, and these are just things I get the privilege of knowing here. It's not the company, it's your leadership. And, I can say that because I've seen you create some of this, but, the architect's amazing because you handpicked him, and the purchasing and estimating group are very specific about what goes into the house and what's included in a house because you've given them that leeway, that direction. I realize she doesn't like to brag on herself, people, but so much of what I see that happens on a day-to-day basis within the organization is really because you've directed it to be that way.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. But I would say that it really is a team effort. And I have amazing, we have an amazing team. And so I think there is so much collaboration that happens throughout the day. And when we talk about the scopes of work and the specifications, the things that go into these homes and the details that we provide with these homes, it really is a collaborative effort and getting everyone involved, and it's been great, like I said.
So one piece that I've always found interesting, because having been on the outside, having built a home of my own with another builder, having builders as clients, having sold or been in the model homes for selling real estate, I didn't realize how many choices you have as to how something is built and or designed. Things that the general population just doesn't know. I could equate it to something like tires. Do you need like this size or this? I don't know. Like somebody knows this, but it's not me.
Well, and that's another great thing about building with Payne Family Homes or even any other a builder here in St. Louis, is that there is a staff of experts that do this on a daily basis, and they're able to coach and walk that customer through that process. So, they've done it so many times, and I'll say that we have just got a great staff of sales. Our sales managers have hundreds of years of experience combined between them, and they're there to really take their hand and walk them through so that they're not scared, or they know what color siding goes with this brick. There is a lot of things.
It is a ton of choices
to think about.
Yeah. So. Okay. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you're involved in a tremendous amount of external industry organizations, different charities, different ways that you're trying to engage with the community. Can you talk to us a little bit about those?
Sure. Well, you touched on it before. St. Jude is obviously near and dear to my heart, and we have, as a company, we just finished our 5th home with St. Jude. And so St. Jude is a children's research hospital, and 80% survival rate right now, and that truly is amazing. But we don't want to stop until that 80% is 100%. So that is actually a large part of the charity work that I'm involved with, as you know.
Do a little bit there.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Yep.
And then also professional women in building through the HBA.
PWBC, Professional Women in Home Building, which is a derivative of the National Association of Home Builders.
That is correct.
So tell me about Professional Women in Home Building.
So Professional Women in Building is a council that really, in different areas in the nation, they kind of take on different projects, but it is part of our local Home Builders Association, and we get together, and right now we are really working on the student chapter. So as most people know, if you're in the industry, we are really suffering from a labor shortage. And so we're really trying to get kids excited about getting back into the trades and knowing that there is it's just a great profession to be in, and there's great money to be had. So with the student chapter, we have gotten North Tech and South Tech here in St. Louis
involved. 2 local high schools.
Yes. And so this will be the second year. And so what we're doing there is, I actually last night just had a parent night with South Tech where we go and we talk to not only the students but the parents, and so that the parents understand that there are so many companies within the Home Builders Association that would love to have their child come to work for them, and teach them a little bit about what we do and what these other companies do. So it's been really awesome. And so part of that is just getting into those classrooms and teaching the kids, taking them on field trips, getting them out to our job sites, showing them what we do. So not only just teaching them, but just showing them, bringing them out there. And then also I'm kind of spearheading the competition in a box, which is also a competition. This will be our third year where we try to get local high schools to come in, and it's kind of like a trivia night. And so we do a bunch of questions about blueprint reading and estimating, and the local Carpenters Union has actually going to be donating scholarships this year.
Oh, cool.
For the winning team. Yeah.
Okay. So, we're touching on this, and I don't know if everybody that's listening is going to be able to connect these dots, but these technical schools are obviously, these kids have kind of identified they want to be in the trades, but the trade industry isn't necessarily limited to just people in technical schools. And there are so many kids that just kind of have in their mind they're supposed to go to college. Mm-hmm. And even for my own children that didn't necessarily think that college was the right thing for them, this is a true alternative. And some of the education that we were talking about earlier was what the Carpenters Union specifically does for people as a part of their apprentice program. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. The Carpenters Union here in St. Louis it's a great way to get your feet wet. And so you can actually get into the Carpenters Union through the actual Carpenters Union, through the hall, or through one of the companies that are part of the Carpenters Union.
Okay.
And so if you were coming out of school and you're 18 and you want to get involved and you want to be a carpenter, it's a great way to do that. So you would join the Carpenters Union, and you would be working for a company, and throughout that you would actually take classes, go to school while you're still working, and really at the end of that program you can come out with an associate's degree, which is it's incredible.
Yeah, it was interesting to talk about that, because I don't know that every parent in the world knows what that means. That you think a trade position, it's not going to be something that they can sustain life on, and that you meet these carpenters or these tradespeople that have these wonderful families, these wonderful lives, and they've spent their life really investing in building houses or renovating homes or whatever their particular trade is. So, Eva and your group with PWBC and the Home Builders Association are investing in those kids coming right out of school, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it's so cool to see the investment, because this is your personal time, right? This isn't what you're doing or getting paid to do. This is what you're doing as an investment. You were talking about somebody that you met last night.
Yeah.
And your eyes lit up. Can you tell me a little bit about her?
She's spunky and full of life, and she's a senior this year, and I'm going to just spend some time with her. I'm just going to grab her, and she's going to come along with me and see a day in the life of what I do, and hopefully get her out in the field a little bit just to kind of show her the ropes. And, the first thing she said to me was, I'm going to own my own company someday. That's my dream, is I want to own my own construction company. I want to build houses. And so it's just cool to see the fire in her eyes, and I don't want that fire to go out. So I want to make sure that she
That's so cool.
Yeah.
With that, I want to make sure that everybody that has a chance to understand what makes you special isn't that you're a woman, and it's not that you're just in construction, but there's so much heart that goes into not only what I've had a chance to see you do every day, but the investment at the local level, the investment with the kids, the investment with the kids at St. Jude. There's so many facets that put your heart into what you do every day. I mean, yeah, you've had a ton of accolades. I think the coloring contest speaks for itself, really.
Hey, I won $100 for that. It's a big deal.
And clearly, over the time, that's probably made a difference in your retirement for sure.
Totally.
It's just amazing, I think, for the general population in the world, that if they're looking at new construction, that they understand there are people like you behind the walls, behind the design, behind the trades and the crews that are developing and building these houses to make sure that they're getting a product that they don't even know they need. Because that's really what I've seen you be able to offer the public on a daily basis.
Well, I tell you what, it's so easy. Being in this industry, I can't speak highly enough about it. And we are one big family. Our trade partners, just everyone, and it's easy, and they're all my family, and I want other people to be as excited as I still am after all these years about being in this industry. And when you hand the keys to that homeowner, I mean, that's the biggest investment of their life, and so there's that personal touch there, and it's just incredible.
Well, I am very appreciative you took the time to do this. You guys have no idea how hard it is to wrangle her down and to put a video camera in front of her. But it's important, and at least in my opinion, if we're going to have the platform of this podcast to talk about how you can make buying and building a new home easy for yourself, that you understand that there are people you get to choose to partner with or choose to investigate a little more about what their decisioning is and how that company is going to support you in your biggest investment. So I really appreciate your time today.
No problem.
And for those of you that are listening, I cannot wait to bring you some of the next topics we have coming up. Thank you for your time, and we will get you next time.